As a facilitator of exchange of goods or services between two parties, money is an asset utilized all around the world for trading purposes. It is a general commodity used as a medium of exchange. Although several schools of thought have varying definitions and opinions about the concept of money and how it is being used, it remains a medium of exchange accepted for payment, and it could be in any form. Whether gold or liquid cash is used as a means of payment for certain goods or services, these assets still represent money in a general sense. Money could be in either physical or digital form. Physical money is the liquid cash measured in various currencies. It is a legal tender for payment of goods and services, and it is easily accessible in the form of cash, checks, and bonds. When money is referred to as physical, this means whatever form it takes. It can be liquidated within a short period. It is the traditional form of money. It is seen as the simplest and broadly accepted form of payment, as several businesses used to operate a cash-only policy before the advent of digital money and cashless policy. On the other hand, digital money is only available in a virtual form. It allows the owner the luxury of not having to carry liquid cash all around. The value is stored in a digital wallet, which can be accessed for payment of goods and services. Digital money is not tangible but can be used as a medium of exchange for tangible items. It can also be converted into cash by transferring into a bank account or selling its value to a third party. A typical example of digital money is cryptocurrency. A feature of digital money that makes it attractive is the anonymity it offers and the ability to transfer large amounts in a few seconds. Financial institutions also use digital money to store and transfer huge amounts of money without having to handle liquid cash. How do we define money? As stated earlier, money is a means of exchange for payment of goods and services, and it could be in physical form or digital form. There are three basic functions ascribed to money in a society. Firstly, from the definition, money is a universal and acceptable means of exchange. Looking at the barter system being used before money, it could be deduced that the system seems cumbersome. If a specific item is needed, the buyer needs to look for a seller willing to accept what he has to offer in exchange for what he needs. What happens when the buyer couldn't find someone willing to take what he has? This seems complex and has a higher level of uncertainty of getting what you need. However, in today's system, money can be accepted by any seller in exchange for goods or services rendered. Another function of money is its ability to serve as a store of value. A $10 bill will always be a $10 bill. This means value has been stored in the piece of paper, and any time it is found, it still possesses its purchasing power, although its value may have been changed due to inflation or deflation. Although several forms of assets can also be used to store value, money still remains the most liquid asset as it can be readily and conveniently exchanged. Lastly, money is a unit of account used to measure the value of items or commodities. An item's price attaches a value to it and gives information about the value of the item to both the buyer and the seller. Using money to quantify the value of items helps give all parties an idea of what the item is worth. For example, if an ice cream costs $2 and a dress from the store costs $12, a dress buyer cannot say she paid 6 ice creams for the dress. Although this is correct, but the values do not correlate and are disjointed. This makes the monetary unit account of an item an acceptable means of measuring its value. A brief history of money, dispelling the myths. The use of money has evolved over thousands of years across many cultures. Exchange of goods and services can be dated back to the barter system of exchanging goods and services with another person who needs what the first party has to offer. However, this system poses the problem of how to determine the rate of exchange and how to find someone who needs what you have to offer and at the same time has what you need. This led to the invention of commodity money, which involves the use of precious commodities like minerals, gold, oil, cattle, precious stones, and salt as payment for goods and services. This also posed logistics problems as heavy loads have to be transported, and also there were usually conflicts if the commodities offered were not up to the standard expected. By 5000 BC, metal money became prevalent, and by 700 BC, metal was forged into coins. The metal coins were acceptable and convenient at the time as the metals were available and each coin had its designated value. Paper money originated from China and it became widespread in the Western world, while representative money, which represents money whose value was attached to a commodity, also evolved. This was later replaced by fiat money, which is legal tender today. Forms of money. Generally, money could be in several forms as explained earlier. Any item can be used to represent money as long as it is accepted by all parties involved and its value is known. Various societies have used different items to represent money in times past, ranging from cigarettes during war, cowries, tobacco, precious stones, cattle, and other valuable items. The major forms of money that have been identified are 1. Commodity money. This refers to material items that are used as a medium of exchange for goods and services. These items are usually valuable and precious to the owner, so he gives them in exchange for what he wants. In other words, commodity is the money and money is the commodity. The value of the commodity is usually measured and determined by its weight and other metrics. This gives a simple and unit value to the commodity. Commodity money includes gold, oil, precious stones, salt, rice, minerals, cigarettes, alcohol, cattle, etc. Commodity money differs from the barter since a unit of measurement is available and only the commodity is accepted in exchange for the goods or services. 2. Representative money. This is money that has no value of its own but whose value is backed by a commodity. This means gold kept in a bank vault can be represented by a certificate, paper, or token coins. It is easier to carry than a certificate showing ownership of the commodity rather than the commodity itself. Examples of representative money are token coins, paper notes, and certificates. 3. Fiat money. This is money whose value is not determined by its own intrinsic value. Its value is determined by the government order only. This makes it a legal tender and thus acceptable as a medium of exchange everywhere. Fiat usually comes in the form of gold coins or banknotes, and since its value is determined by the government, if it gets partially mutilated, the Federal Reserve Bank replaces it. This makes it different from commodity or representative money, which cannot be recovered once lost or mutilated. 4. Coin money. This refers to gold, silver, bronze, copper, and other metallic coins used as payment for goods and services. The metal was weighed first before forging it into a coin, so its value will be known. This led to coin stamping to save coin makers from the stress of weighing and to be able to determine the value of each coin at first sight. 5. Paper money. The use of paper notes can be traced to pre-modern China. It was developed as a solution to the stress of transportation and safety of large amounts of coins during trading activities. Traders began issuing banknotes which could be used locally, and then in the mid-13th century, the government took over the printing of banknotes and they became an acceptable payment medium throughout pre-modern China. Sweden was the first European country to introduce paper money in 1661. Due to the rising concern about the inflationary bubble caused by the excessive supply of paper money and its association with war, it was used with caution in America and Europe. Gold and silver continued to be the standard of exchange, but paper notes continued to circulate and gain preeminence over gold and silver worldwide. 6. Commercial bank. This is money stored in financial institutions that can be drawn from when goods and services need to be paid for. Financial institutions make use of demand deposit accounts from which the owners can request for withdrawal anytime either by cash or check. Using this account gives the owner the flexibility to make withdrawals without giving the bank a prior notice. Nowadays, deposit account owners initiate withdrawals through bank drafts, automated teller machines, online banking, and checks. The system of operation commercial banks use is holding a certain percentage of the customer's assets in the bank's reserve and then lending out the rest as loans. This comes with a clause that all deposits can be produced when demanded for. This banking system regulates the broad money supply of a country, as the money supply is usually a function of the reserve requirement enforced on financial institutions by the financial regulators. This means the broad money supply is a multiple of the base money, and this multiple, called the money multiplier, is usually greater than 1. This money supply can be calculated as the total amount of money in circulation in a country, as well as the savings and checking available in the financial institutions. Money in this form is not physical, and some assets can be lost if the financial holding company becomes dissolved. This differentiates commercial bank money from commodity money and fiat money. 7. Digital money. This is the most recent form of money which allowed monetary transactions to be made electronically. Money started to be transferred in the electronic form in the late 20th century and was also represented as digital assets in banks. Bitcoin came into existence in 2008 as a cryptocurrency, and this has led to the spring up of several forms of cryptocurrencies today. Money through the ages. Over the years, money has transitioned from physical money to digital money that has become prevalent today. As stated earlier, money can be traced to the barter system of exchange, which could be traced to 350 BC when Aristotle stated that an item could be put to two uses, either for the purpose for which it was invented or as a medium of exchange for another item. Money was also traced to a time when valuable items were exchanged for the purpose of fostering relationships between people without commercial undertones. Livestock and agricultural produce were used as money at a time when farmers could deposit their produce in the temple and be issued a receipt, which could be used to pay for other items in the temple. The use of barley as a unit of account came into the picture at this time. The Bronze Age ushered in the use of commodities like metals, cattle, cowries, salt, and gold as money, although metals were favorable at the time as they could be divided into units easily and were portable. The Lydians invented stamped metal coins in 7th century BC, and its use spread at the time. By 11th century, China introduced paper money, and its use was widely adopted by merchants, and by 13th century, paper money spread to Europe, after which gold was adopted by 7th century in England, when merchants stored gold with goldsmiths. England started issuing banknotes in 1661, and they continued to be used till the 19th century as representative money with gold or silver backing. In 1971, the US dollar was no longer backed by gold and became a free-floating currency. Payment cards, digital money, and cryptocurrencies all evolved in the late 20th century. Gold standards. When the use of coins started circulating during the Middle Ages, the need for having a specified value for the gold and silver arose and several standards were developed. When the gold rush of Australia and California happened in the 1800s, the value of gold relative to silver dropped drastically, causing a price shift, which eventually led to the shift from the silver standard to the gold standard. Several European countries like Germany, Italy, France, the Scandinavians, and the Netherlands, leaving the Far East countries behind with the silver standard. The gold standard soon became widespread in the early years of the 20th century and became widely acceptable. Paper money and bank deposits could be converted into gold coins or bullions readily, making gold a single world money, although with different values in various countries. The British pound sterling was equivalent to 113 grains of pure gold, while the US dollar was 23.22 grains of pure gold. The official rate at the time only differed by the cost of shipping the gold, so people bought gold in the U.S. banks and shipped it to Britain to buy pounds sterling, and then ship it back to the U.S. to sell and make profit. This unified currency gave the government limited power in monetary supply. Fiat currency and intrinsic value. As described earlier, fiat money is money whose value is not determined by its own intrinsic value, but by the government order only. It also does not have its own use value, so the parties involved in the dealing determine its value, or the government does so. Either way, it is a legal tender and acceptable for financial dealings. It could be banknotes or gold coins as the case may be, and usually state-issued. The word was derived from the Latin word fiat, which means let it be done. It is different from commodity money, which has its own intrinsic value. Currency pegs. Policies developed by the government of a country to set a fixed exchange rate for its currency against other currencies are called currency pegs. Pegs are used to stabilize a country's currency against other currencies. A more specific definition for the currency peg is that it is a policy in which a national government sets a specific fixed exchange rate for its currency with a foreign currency or basket of currencies. This helps to foster business dealing between the country and other countries against which its currency is pegged and provides a long-term predictability of the exchange rates. When a peg is placed on a currency, its exchange rate is fixed and has a predetermined ratio to other currencies, so the exchange rate does not change. This makes the currency more stable and also limits rate of inflation. A pegged currency has a reference value, which controls it so when the reference value fluctuates, the value of other currencies to which it is pegged also fluctuates. This means the reference value determines the value of the pegged currency at any given time. The central bank of a country using the pegged currency is responsible for regulating the pegged ratio of the currency by buying or selling the currency at a fixed price. This in turn stabilizes the currency according to the reference value. The central bank can control the exchange rate by selling out the foreign currency reserves in exchange for the domestic currency, thereby making the domestic currency scarce. This action shoots up the exchange rate value. The reverse can be done by buying the foreign currency and selling out the domestic currency back into the market, thereby affecting market equilibrium. Generally, countries peg their currency against that of other currencies belonging to a more developed economy. The euro, US dollar, and gold remain popular pegging choices. When a currency is pegged, trade expands beyond the shores of the country and also boosts long-term investments. The currency is stabilized and volatility is greatly reduced. Inflation can also be curbed because the fixed exchange rate places the monetary authority in check. Due to the foreign currency to which the country's currency is pegged, international trade between the countries is boosted as the fluctuations in exchange rate will be quite low. However, in order to avoid high rate of demand and supply spikes, the central bank must regulate cash flow and monitor the demand and supply. This can be done by holding the exchange reserves and making the foreign currency scarce. In addition, if the pegs are placed at a low exchange rate, the purchasing power of the domestic country will be reduced, as they will have to pay more when they need to import from the foreign country whom their currency is pegged against. The foreign country will not be able to sell to the domestic country in order to avoid losses. Also, if the peg is placed at a high exchange rate, domestic consumers tend to import from the foreign country excessively, and that leads to trade deficits with the government dipping into the foreign exchange reserves. The peg then collapses, and if this goes on too long, inflation sets in and investors running into debt. This could be seen in the case of the British pound against the German mark in 1992 and the US dollar against European currencies in 1971. Quantitative easing. Quantitative easing, or QE, was first used in 1995 by German economist Richard Werner during the Japanese crisis. It is a monetary policy implemented by central banks to inject money into the economy. This is done by buying government bonds and longer-term financial assets from the open market to increase national money flow. This monetary policy is used to control low inflation and often used as a last resort when all standard monetary policy instruments have been used and they do not seem to be working. Central banks implement quantitative easing by purchasing government bonds and longer-term securities from commercial banks to increase money supply, thereby lowering demand and then the cost of money. This increases the lending power of banks as they are able to reduce their interest rates, thereby attracting prospective borrowers. Commercial banks consent to this policy when their interest rates are nearing zero or has hit the zero mark. This induces central banks to step in and buy their assets, thereby stimulating the economy. It has the power to rescue an economy from the quagmire of recession and also prevent inflation from falling more than necessary. For example, it was executed by major central banks during the recent global pandemic, which led to a global financial crisis. In summary, money as a medium of exchange and unit of account has evolved over the years with various forms in circulation today. The barter system was not enough to meet people's needs at the time, so societies and individuals kept developing forms that were convenient for each age. With digital money being the most recent form of money, transactions have become easier and instant. To boost investments between countries, currencies are pegged against each other to balance exchange rates and inflation. Due to certain conditions in the economy, quantitative easing is done to inject money into the economy to increase money supply. This is often done as a last resort when all policies have been implemented during economic crises. Part 2. Digital money. How are interbank payments made? With an expanding trading atmosphere, payments usually need to be made between customers in the same bank or outside the bank. When banks receive instructions by a customer to pay money to another, the transactions do not involve physical cash. They are wired electronically for the recipient to get the funds in their account. As a rule of thumb, bank deposits are usually liabilities lent to a bank, and the money revolves around the system. They are seen as extending credit to the bank, and the money could be conjured up for use at any time. So when transfers from one customer to another need to be made within a bank, the process is less cumbersome than when the recipient owns an account with another bank, as this would mean the sender's bank would owe the receiver's bank and have to send it to them somehow. Electronic means of transfer helps eliminate the need for cash and guarantees instant payment. Let's examine what happens behind the scenes during bank transfers. Same bank. Transfers between two customers using the same bank is simple and less dicey business. For example, if Alice using Bank A needs to transfer $20 to Carlos, also using Bank A, the process is easier. Once Alice issues the transfer command to Bank A, the funds are removed from her account and added to Carlos's account, i.e., Alice's account goes down by $20 while Carlos's account increases by the same amount. The whole transfer is done within Bank A and there is no inflow or outflow of money. All the bank needs to do is update their accounts to balance the records so the transaction is all settled internally. Different banks. On the other hand, if Alice of Bank A needs to transfer $20 to Bob of Bank B, the process gets more complicated. How does Bank A send the money to Bank B and pay each other, as Bank B's account has gone down by $20, which has been paid to Bob, and Bank A's account has balanced out as they are only paying Alice her liability she kept with them? How then does Bank A make payment to Bank B digitally, as Bank A cannot send physical notes every time a customer makes a transfer to Bank B? This can be solved in two ways. Either Bank A has an account with Bank B where it deposits money, and Bank B deducts money from the account anytime a transfer command is issued, or each bank has an account with a central system and keeps deposits in it, so anytime transfers are made between the banks, the central bank makes the payment to the receiving bank from the sender's account. These two methods are called the correspondent bank account and central bank payment system. Correspondent bank accounts. Assuming Bank A holds an account with Bank B and makes deposits in it, it can instruct Bank B to deduct the $20 sent from Bob from the account, so the account seems settled this way. This system of payment is known as the correspondent banking system. With it, Bank A can owe Alice $20 and be $20 less in their account with Bank B. And at the same time, Bank B owes Bob $20, which it deducts from Bank A's account. So, Bank B is Bank A's correspondent bank and is said to hold a nostro account with it. Nostro means our in Latin. Therefore, a correspondent account can be likened to our account. However, this system has some potholes. For example, it requires a bank to deposit money into various banks waiting for customers' command to make transfers. This is money that could be put to other profitable use, and also if a bank goes bankrupt, all its correspondent banks lose their holdings with it. This makes a riskier venture. Central bank accounts. The intrabank system examined earlier is quite fast, less cumbersome, and easier, and interbank transfers would also go smoothly when a system similar to this is used. This is where the central bank system comes in. With this system, a bank can bank with all other banks if it has an account with a superbank. The central bank allows all banks to have an account with it, into which they can deposit money and instruct the central bank to make transfers from one account to another. The real-time gross settlement, or RTGS system, or deferred net system, DNS, could be used with the central bank system. RTGS implies that the transfers are effected in real time, while DNS queues up payments for a certain period and makes all adjustments at the end of each period. So for the transaction between Alice and Bob, if the RTGS system were used, Alice issues the transfer command to Bank A. Bank A then uses RTGS through central banking to pay Bank B, after which the accounts on each side are balanced, and the central bank clears the transaction. Using this system is faster and less cumbersome than the correspondent system, but it can only be used for transfers within a country and in the same currency. International payments. As pointed out in the previous section, the central bank system only works within a country and with one currency. This raises the question of what happens when international payments need to be made. Well, the correspondent bank system is usually the system banks use to effect international payments for their customers when transactions need to be made in a country where they do not have a banking license. For example, if Alice in Algeria issues a transfer command to her bank to make payment of $20 to Bob in the US, the Algerian bank would need to maintain an account with one of the big banks in the US to be able to make the payment. So the Algerian bank draws from its sitting balance with the bank in the US to pay Bob the $20. This method is used because most likely the Algerian bank and US bank will not have accounts with the same RTGS or DNS. Also, if banks from smaller countries are unable to open accounts with the larger foreign banks, they can use the larger local banks to run their foreign transactions. However, this method might be a little bit slower and take days to effect. This is why several e-money wallets have risen to solve the problem. E-money wallets. E-money wallets are prepaid bank electronic accounts, which can be used for financial transactions. The user's money is stored on an electronic ledger and can be drawn from at any time to make instant payments. This method is easy for keeping fiat money in a wallet provided by banking alternatives who are licensed to help customers hold their fiat and allow them to make transactions. E-money wallets provide cheaper means of making payments and also makes cross-border transactions convenient and faster. When making international payments with e-money wallets, the transaction fees are usually less when compared with the traditional banking system fees and also faster with privacy guaranteed. E-money wallets use a secure system as each account uses a username and a unique password which cannot be breached unless the details are compromised. A common example of e-money wallet is PayPal, which provides a solid network for merchants and even allows international transfers at very little cost. Not only can international payments be made with PayPal, online shopping, payment for services, flight ticket booking, and several financial transactions can be performed on the platform. Part 3. Cryptography. As a security system, cryptography is, quote, the science of keeping information secure by transforming it into a form that unintended recipients cannot understand, unquote. In other words, it is a system of information encryption, which cannot be deciphered by unauthorized parties. The term came from the ancient Greek words kryptos, meaning hidden, and graphene, which means to write. This system is about taking plain text information and hiding it from third parties, i.e., transition of messages from public to private accessibility. This is done with the use of modern mathematical and computer science theories and cryptographic algorithms that are designed in such a way that they could not be broken. When information is encrypted, the encoder shares the decoding method with the intended recipient so that the information does not get compromised. Alice, letter A, is used to represent the sender, while Bob, letter B, represents the recipient. Eve, letter E, is used to represent the eavesdropper, who is the third party or adversary the information is being hidden from. In money terms, cryptography is used to ensure the anonymity and security of transactions. It also ensures protection of participants and also prevents double spending. Other uses include verification of transactions and transfer of digital assets and tokens. This cryptography system of encoding is used to encrypt blockchain-based cryptocurrencies to maintain anonymity and adequate security of data and also ensure transactions are smoothly processed. Encryption keys are used to decrypt messages sent between the two parties, i.e., keys make the information secure. Several cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, and the like use cryptography largely in ensuring the anonymity as well as smooth transfer between the sender and receiver. Several functions used include hashes and digital signatures, all employed for secure transactions. Encryption and decryption. In cryptography, encryption refers to the process of transforming information into an indecipherable format, which cannot be read. When data is encrypted, an encryption algorithm is used by the sender, so the original message looks completely different when compared to the encrypted message. The original message is called the plain text, while the encrypted message is known as ciphertext. An encrypted message can be intercepted, but its content cannot be interpreted without the encryption key. On the other hand, decryption refers to the process of interpreting the encrypted message into a readable format. This is done on the receiver's end with the use of a private key to transform a cipher back into plain text. Decryption is like a reverse-engineered encryption, and the system does this extracting the information in the ciphertext either manually, automatically, or with the use of private keys. Encryption and decryption are both necessary for privacy and to reduce data loss and theft by unauthorized parties. Hashes. With the main goal of protecting data, cryptography uses hashing as a major tool in achieving this goal. Hashes are digital wraps that are placed on data, software, or any digital entity to alert users of interceptions that could have been encountered by the data. It is similar to real-life tags that are placed on new products to warn consumers not to use it if it has been tampered with or broken. Hashing is a one-way process that transforms data into enciphered data in a unique text string. This means it tries to hide the data by converting it into strings of data with certain mathematical functions so it can be difficult to reverse engineer and read the data. Hashing differs from encryption due to it being a one-way process, as opposed to encryption where data can be decrypted using keys. A strong hash is expected to possess determinism, computational speed, and image resistance. A hash function is also expected to be practically irreversible and unique. Hashes can be applied in sensitive tasks like proof of work, fingerprinting, password verification, and so on. Digital signatures. Just like handwritten signatures, a digital signature is a cryptographic key that bounds a party to certain digital data. It is a public key cryptographic element used to authenticate the origin of a message and also confirm if data has been breached in transit. Both the sender and receiver possess the public-private key pair, which is used for encrypting and decrypting the data. Each party uses the public key for verification, while the private key is used for signing. Data is hashed to produce the digital signature, which is signed on the data and sent. The receiver then verifies the data with the public key and uses the same hash function to generate the hash which is compared with the verification algorithm to ascertain the validity of the digital signature. Due to the uniqueness of the signature, the signer cannot deny signing the data if disputes arise. Why Alice and Bob? Instead of using letters to represent characters in cryptographic discussions, researchers Ron Rivest, Adi Shamir, and Leonard Adelman invented Alice and Bob as fictional characters for easier comprehension in 1978. Over the years, both names have evolved in the cryptographic world and have even spread into various scientific fields. In the research paper where they were first mentioned, Alice and Bob were described as two users of a public key crypto system. They replaced the typical A and B narratives that were used by earlier researchers. Over the years, there have been additional characters added to the discussion like Eve, the eavesdropper, Craig, the password cracker, and several used in different scenarios. Using these fictional characters make cryptographic conversations and literature easy to follow and comprehensible. Alice, or A, is usually used to represent the sender, while B, or Bob, represents the recipient. Part 4. Cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, commonly abbreviated as BTC, is a digital currency that is not controlled by the central bank or any other central body. It is completely decentralized and runs on a peer-to-peer network. It was invented by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, whose identity remains unknown, in 2008 and started circulating in 2009 as an open-source software. Although cryptocurrency has been criticized by many about its use as a payment system and money laundering during illegal activities, Bitcoin continues to gain more popularity day by day. Bitcoins are created through a process called mining, which is done by using supercomputers and advanced technologies. This cryptocurrency has not been passed as legal tender. However, it has become a very popular payment system nowadays due to the lower transaction fee it offers as well as the anonymity it provides. As mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is created or mined, distributed, stored, and traded without a centralized ledger system, but with the use of blockchain technology. What is the point of Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a form of money with its own peculiarities. For example, it is not a legal tender, yet a lot of businesses accept it for payment for goods and services. It is very volatile in terms of its value at any given time, making it a hot trading currency for brokers who are well versed in its ways. With the decentralization, Bitcoin makes money transfer between parties easy, untraceable, and smooth. Its widespread adoptability by users around the world can be attributed to the convenience it offers, liberty, anonymity, investment capability, and most importantly, decentralization. This has prompted governments and central banks to express interest in its regulation, legal use, price regulation, and investigations into the users and their activities. How does Bitcoin work? Bitcoin works on a blockchain system where all codes are stored in blocks. Each block contains a hash from the block before it up to the very first block or genesis block. The computers used for mining are called miners or nodes, which are all connected over a network, so as the mining is done and new blocks are being filled up, all transactions and blocks are seen across these nodes. The nodes check and balance each transaction and record it into the node's ledger and share the ledger with the other nodes. Each transaction shows at least one input and output each, so to check double spending in the system, each input going into a user's address must correspond to a previous output that has left another address in the blockchain. However, there is room for multiple recipients in a single transaction, and each transaction attracts a transaction fee. These transactions are displayed in a Forth-like scripting language. In order to transfer Bitcoin between two parties, an address is generated by the recipient and the sender transfers the amount of Bitcoin into the recipient's unique address. Bitcoin's ecosystem. The unit used to measure this cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, abbreviated as BTC, and XBT. Its smaller units are referred to as Satoshi, or SAT, and millibitcoin, MBTC. The Satoshi was derived from the name of the mysterious creator of Bitcoin. It represents the 1/100 millionth portion of Bitcoin, making it the tiniest portion ever, while a millibitcoin is 1,000th of a Bitcoin, 1/1000, or 100,000 Satoshis. It works out on a blockchain system, which keeps a public record of all inflow and outflow transactions. The blockchain contains a set of blocks, with each block possessing a hash of the preceding block up to the genesis block, which is the first block. The transactions are shown on a network of interconnected nodes, which maintains the blockchain and also records the transactions in the ledger, which is shared across all the nodes. A new block is created on an average 10-minute cycle. The newly created block is recorded in the blockchain ledger and shared across all nodes. This system helps to avoid the problem of double spending. Bitcoin in practice. As pointed out in the Bitcoin white paper published in 2009, Bitcoin runs on a peer-to-peer technology, which assures instant payments without third parties. The limit of Bitcoin that could have been mined is 21 million BTC, of which more than 18 million have been mined, leaving a little above 2 million BTC left to be mined. The Bitcoin miners serve as the decentralized authority in charge of overseeing transactions over the blockchain. and they are compensated with more Bitcoin, as well as transaction fees gained on each transaction. This system distinguishes Bitcoin from fiat currency, as the rate of release has been determined with an algorithm rather than an increase in goods. Bitcoin has become a major investment avenue in present-day economy, as its exchange rate against the dollar gives it a competitive advantage. Although it is decentralized currency, it is accepted as payment for goods and services, and can be liquidated easily with low transaction fees. Bitcoin, like all other cryptocurrencies, is taxed as property, so gains and losses from capital Bitcoins is held as capital gains or losses. Bitcoin can be owned by buying and holding either long or short term, mining, getting paid for goods and services with it, trading, and many other ways. Bitcoin's predecessors. Cryptocurrencies have been around for a while now, and in recent years have seen the birth of more coins sprouting up. However, Bitcoin remains the most popular and number one digital currency in the world today. The question then pops into minds, was Bitcoin the first cryptocurrency? Well, there have been attempts by early computer scientists from around the world to create a cryptocurrency. The first recorded attempt was in the Netherlands in the 1980s, when night thefts became a serious menace and kept on occurring, especially at gas stations. This prompted a group of developers to design a form of smart cards, which could be used to pay for the gas, to reduce the amount of cash held by gas stations at night. This was the earliest attempt at electronic cash, which was recorded in Bitcoin magazine. Blinded cash is another form of electronic cash, which shares quite a number of similarities with present-day cryptocurrencies. It was developed by David Chaum, who is a cryptographer who conceived the idea of an electronic cash, which could be sent safely between two parties anonymously. The blinding formula was used to encrypt the transactions so it could be safe and untraceable. DigiCash was started with this idea but had to close down in 1998 due to bankruptcy. However, some of the ideas put forward by Chaum were used in the development of cryptocurrencies later on. Web-based money from startups like PayPal in the 1990s also pushed the idea of electronic cash, which is still used today. Wei Dai, who was a member of the early cypherpunk movement, developed a proposal for an anonymous distributed electronic cash system. He named it B-Money, but the currency was never launched as it could not gain a lot of attention. The protocol behind B-Money is a currency that would use pseudonyms for transactions through a decentralized network without a third party over a secure, private, and anonymous system. Although B-Money was not launched, the Bitcoin white paper drew references later on, so it could be said to impact the cryptocurrency movement. Another previous attempt at cryptocurrency development is BitGold, which was proposed by Nick Szabo and could be traced back to the days of B-Money. It had its personal proof-of-work system similar to present-day mining, which publishes the blocks across a public system of nodes, similar to the modern blockchain system. It also has a decentralized system and aims at distributing real gold without the hassle of middlemen. It was also unsuccessful like B-Money, but provided working principles of the cryptocurrencies to come. One of the most successful Bitcoin predecessors was Hashcash, which was created in the 1990s. It provided the foundation on which many modern-day coins were built, although it eventually crashed in 1997. Hashcash had a proof-of-work system, which assisted in the creation of new currencies. It also had other uses, like minimizing email spam and guarding against attacks from DDoS. It was able to garner a lot of attention at the time it was created, and also provided inspiration for Bitcoin development. All of these predecessors provided bits of elements and frameworks which contributed to the success of Bitcoin today. Bitcoin's early history. Bitcoin came into existence in 2008, when a link to the Bitcoin white paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system by Satoshi Nakamoto, was published on a cryptography mailing list. The Bitcoin software was released in January 2009 as an open-source code, and then the first block, known as the Genesis block, was mined. The block contained the text, quote, "The Times, 03, Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks," unquote, which was a headline published by The Times. It was interpreted as when the first block was mined and also a political comment on the hazards caused by fractional reserve banking. The first recipient was Hal Finney, who received 10 BTC from Nakamoto on January 12, 2009. While in 2010, the first commercial transaction initiated by Laszlo Hanyek occurred. Nakamoto disappeared in 2010 and handed the network alert key and code control repository to Gavin Andreessen after mining about 1 million bitcoins, according to blockchain analysts. By September 2012, the Bitcoin Foundation was founded in a bid to develop the cryptocurrency and encourage acceptance. Modifications were made to the software in November 2011 to reduce the blockchain synchronization time. Several updates were made to the software, with new versions arising, and the transaction fee was reduced. By this time, there were 2 Bitcoin exchanges available, Mt. Gox and BitInstant. The U.S. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network mandated all Bitcoin and decentralized digital currency miners to register their services as businesses and were regulated. Mt. Gox accounts were frozen when the U.S. FinCEN discovered they were not registered in 2013. In the same year, about 30,000 BTC was seized from Silk Road and sold in an auction to Tim Draper. This started the journey of the price rising up to $1,163 by November 2013, and then declining to $152 by January 2015. China banned the use of bitcoins in 2013, and this led to a major price drop. Bitcoin's prices over the years. 2011, Bitcoin prices started at 30 cents per BTC and grew to $31.50 by June. Commercial transactions with Bitcoin had started, with Silk Road accepting it as payment. 2012, Bitcoin started at $5.27 and grew to $13.30. The Bitcoin Foundation started in September 2012 to promote the development and encourage its use. 2013, Bitcoin started at $13.30 and experienced price fluctuations from $775 to $1,163 before falling to $760 by the end of the year due to blockchain forks that arose. The seizure of Bitcoin from Silk Road and Mt. Gox, as well as the blind auction of the seized assets of Tom Draper, affected prices this year. Another major impact on the Bitcoin market was the cryptocurrency ban China placed on its financial institutions. 2014. The price of Bitcoin started at $770 and closed at $314 by the end of the year, during which the Wikimedia Foundation started accepting Bitcoin donations. The FinCEN also implemented regulatory guidelines for the Bitcoin miners. A major event that happened in 2014 and affected the price of Bitcoin is the split in the blockchain into 2 independent chains operating on different versions simultaneously. 2015 to 2017, Bitcoin prices rose from $315 to $998 by the beginning of 2017. 2017 to 2019, Bitcoin prices rose from $998 at the beginning of 2017 to $13,412.44 by the beginning of 2018, and then fell to $6,914 by February 2018 due to the ban on crypto trading by China. It closed at $3,747 by the end of 2018, and by June 2019, the price of Bitcoin was $13,000. 2020 to the present. 2020 ushered in the pandemic, and the price fell below $4,000 in March of 2020. Bitcoin witnessed a comeback after the $250 million MicroStrategy investment in the market, and by November 2020, the price hit an all-time high of $19,860. In 2021, prices hit $37,299 after a tweet from Elon Musk with a Bitcoin hashtag, and prices have continued to rise since then. Prices presently are above the $50,000 mark. Storing Bitcoins. As a digital currency, Bitcoin cannot be stashed in banks or underground. It is stored electronically. Due to the growing number of hackers and thieves, it has become important to keep the Bitcoins safe to avoid losing them. It is also possible to lose Bitcoin due to a loss of the access keys or computer failure, crashed hard drives, loss of computer, and so on. And once Bitcoin is lost, it cannot be gotten back. However, there are several ways of keeping Bitcoin safe from potential loss. Bitcoins are stored in a digital wallet, which could be hardware or software. Storing Bitcoin in wallets also ensure verification of transactions and gives easy access to the Bitcoins as well. Software wallets. This comes in the form of wallets which are not physical. Software wallets include hot wallets like cloud wallets and online wallets. The cloud wallet uses a system where the Bitcoins can be accessed from any device or location. They store the private keys online and are easy to navigate. They are provided by third parties, and funds are not entirely safe in these wallets. They are to be used for minute amounts of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin should not be held in them for long. There are custodial online wallets as well as non-custodial online wallets. The latter is the better option as the third-party wallet provider cannot access the private keys. Examples of cloud wallets are Coinbase, MetaMask, Bitwala, etc. Another hot wallet option are the desktop and mobile wallets that can be installed on computers or mobile phones. They offer an adequate amount of security, but their systems could also be hacked. Examples are Exodus, Electrum Wallet, etc. Hardware wallets. As the name implies, hardware wallets are physical devices that are used to generate private access keys and sign transactions. They are specially designed for storing Bitcoins and withstanding both physical and digital attacks. The wallet contains the seed and also signed transactions internally before transmitting the signed transaction to the computer without compromising the information held in it. Hardware wallets are safe as they do not share information in the wallet with the computer used to access it. It provides one of the safest and user-friendly ways of storing Bitcoins, although it is expensive to procure. However, if the goal is to hold Bitcoin as a long-term investment, hardware wallets should be considered. One of the cons in having a recognizable Bitcoin hardware wallet is the issue of safety. The devices are easily recognizable, thereby giving one away as a possible owner of Bitcoin. This poses a danger to the owner's life as there could be possible robbing or coercing from thieves. However, hardware wallets are not easy to access without the owner's consent due to the private access keys. Buying and selling Bitcoins. Nowadays, Bitcoin buying and selling has been made with numerous options of purchase and sale available to all users. There are hot wallets, software wallets, and exchanges available for performing transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain. The most common avenue for trading Bitcoins is the exchange platform and the peer-to-peer platform. There are many cryptocurrency exchanges to pick from, with common ones like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, etc. When picking an exchange to use, ensure the exchange offers two-factor authentication for more security. Most exchanges require KYC and are easy to navigate. Once registered with an exchange, go ahead with the identity verification and connect a payment method. Once the payment method has been set up, place an order for the amount of Bitcoin needed and proceed to pay. Most exchanges now offer instant transactions, so the Bitcoin should reflect in the wallet within a little period. The purchased unit can be transferred from the exchange into a personal wallet as desired. Bitcoin can also be purchased through a peer-to-peer exchange. To sell Bitcoin, many exchanges give the option of selling it back on the platform, and it can also be sold through the peer-to-peer system. Exchanges. A Bitcoin exchange is an intermediary between a buyer and seller in the cryptocurrency marketplace. It is an online brokerage where buyers and sellers come together to trade their Bitcoin. Money is deposited into the exchange through the available payment options and can be used to purchase Bitcoin within the exchange. The system used by exchanges is similar to that of brokers, where a purchase order is placed and then fulfilled when the Bitcoin requested is available from a seller. This gives the exchange the power to buy Bitcoin on behalf of the buyer at the best available price. Also, a seller permits the exchange to trade Bitcoin on their behalf at the current bid. Payment options used by exchanges include direct bank transfers, credit or debit cards, money orders, bank wires, and several others. A conversion or transaction fee is charged when a cryptocurrency is traded against another, just like with commercial banks. Money could be withdrawn from exchanges through methods like PayPal, credit card transfers, bank wire, bank transfer, etc. Exchanges also allow peer-to-peer trading as there is no centralized body to authorize transactions. Some of the popular exchanges include Coinbase, Binance, Bisq, etc. Over-the-counter, or OTC, brokers. Exchanges match buyers and sellers and get paid for their services. However, over-the-counter Bitcoin brokers replace exchanges and trade on their clients' behalf in the crypto market. The OTC market focuses on clients with significantly large amounts of cash for trading, so the broker works with the client and completes the transaction using a single party to fulfill all orders according to the quote prices given by the client. There is total anonymity in transactions like this as all communications are made through the OTC broker. This helps avoid slippage, which can occur when the wealthy client's order is filled by multiple parties, leading to varying prices from each party. Slippage can cause increases in fees paid, as well as varying prices of assets, which could be avoided by transacting via the OTC directly with a single transaction, which attracts single transaction fees. Due to the large amount of cash needed for OTC transactions to be done, KYC is required from clients in order to rule out theft, fraud, and money laundering. A client looking for an OTC should also carry out the background check on the OTC broker to be used so great prices can be had for the transaction. One of the major advantages of using OTC Bitcoin brokers is the no-limit cap and improved market liquidity offered. The best price in the market is also achieved, as well as assured anonymity throughout the process. However, it requires a significant amount of capital investment and verification checks to be qualified for OTC. Also, there is a limited range of coins that can be exchanged, and the trading process is manual. It is also important to look out for trusted OTC brokers, as there are only a few trusted brokers available. Local Bitcoins. As a peer-to-peer Bitcoin marketplace, Local Bitcoins is a Finnish over-the-counter trading hub for Bitcoins where users post advertisements for buying and selling Bitcoins, with each advertisement stating its exchange rate and payment methods available for the transaction. The company was founded in June 2012 by Jeremias Kagas in Helsinki and is well known for the escrow package and customer feedback. The Roskomnadzor, or Executive Agency for Telecommunications in Russia, blocked the market in 2016 when talk about banning cryptocurrency was ongoing in the country. However, Local Bitcoins was able to help its users bypass the ban and trading continued. Several users were arrested during this period for crimes related to money and also had some users' Bitcoins hacked and stolen in 2019. Presently, the company is a registered virtual currency provider by the Finnish Financial Authority. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? The name Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym used by the creator of Bitcoin. Nakamoto was responsible for writing and publishing the Bitcoin white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, which gave detailed information about the use of a peer-to-peer network for transactions in order to avoid double spending. The paper was published in 2008, and this led to the development of the cryptocurrency movement. However, the identity of the person behind the name has remained mysterious, although there have been several speculations as to who Nakamoto might be, but these speculations were not found to be true. This implies that the creator or creators of Bitcoin wish to remain anonymous and have managed to remain so, and even the name could be a pseudonym. However, whoever the creator is, Nakamoto would be a billionaire now given the present price of Bitcoin today. Satoshi Nakamoto came into the limelight in 2009 during the development of the early version of software used for mining the cryptocurrency. There were electronic communications during this period, although the persona behind the name was never revealed. Communications with Nakamoto ceased in 2010, with the last email stating that he had, quote, moved on to other things, unquote. The abrupt end in communication with Nakamoto thwarted all efforts to reveal the persona behind the name, but the cryptocurrency continued to gain popularity and grow in value. It has been estimated that Nakamoto could be in control of about 1 million bitcoins, which is about 5% of the total number of Bitcoin that could be mined, as the cap placed on the maximum amount of Bitcoin generated is 21 million. Although the mysterious identity of Satoshi Nakamoto remains mysterious, numerous people have declared that they are the persona behind the name, although their claims have been proven untrue. Some of them are Dorian Nakamoto, who is an engineer from California. The news about him being Nakamoto broke in March 2014, but further investigations proved otherwise. Hal Finney was an active member of the Bitcoin community before he died in 2014. He was a prominent member of the cypherpunk movement from which Bitcoin was birthed, and was also the first to receive Bitcoin. Coincidentally, he lived a few miles away from Dorian Nakamoto, so it was assumed that Dorian's name was an inspiration for the pseudonym Finney gave the creator of Bitcoin. Nick Szabo is another man who was assumed to be Nakamoto as a result of a blog post he posted in 2005 about a hypothetical digital currency named BitGold, which would be decentralized. He also belonged to the cypherpunk movement in the early days. Craig Wright is an Australian computer scientist and businessman who claimed to be the man behind the name. Wired and Gizmodo wrote 2 articles ascribing to the belief, but investigations have revealed otherwise. He claims to have created Bitcoin with the late Dave Kleiman, who is a computer security expert. The published articles show evidences which include email messages and chats from business dealings. One of the evidences also showed that Wright used the same email used by Nakamoto during the early-day correspondences. However, several cryptography critics have disproven his claims and pointed out that Wright is not Nakamoto. Although he was able to sign a message with a private key from one of the first Bitcoins to be mined, critics have pointed to the fact that it was a hoax and even accused Wright of misrepresentation. The mystery hanging around the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto could be for safety and privacy. Due to the widespread use of the cryptocurrency, there is a possibility of nations' fiat currencies losing face value, thereby causing the government to want to take legal action against its creator or creators. This becomes impossible as there is no persona behind it and it is totally decentralized. Also, the popularity of Bitcoin would attract a lot of media presence from the press and government, which might potentially intrude on the creator's privacy, hence the need for keeping the identity a secret. Lastly, due to the rising value of the currency and the amount of Bitcoin that would be in the possession of early miners who are the creators, their safety could be at stake, thereby making them a target for attacks from people who might want to extort or steal from them. The fork of a codebase. A fork in the cryptocurrency world means duplicating a codebase and developing the duplicate independently, causing the creation of a new and separate software. The codebase fork makes changes to the original codebase, and this leads to a blockchain fork or the rise of a new cryptocurrency. It is more of a developmental branching, although it could be as a result of a split in the crypto community. A fork of a live blockchain. Chain splits. A blockchain fork occurs as a result of a change in protocol or divergent split into 2 potential paths. As an open-source code, blockchain runs on a number of interconnected nodes where the public ledger of blocks is being shared across the connected nodes. A common protocol has to be followed to achieve this. Forks arise as a result of a disagreement among the nodes or breaking away from the protocol. The forks could be temporary and resolved, or they could be permanent. Permanent forks add new features to the blockchain and lead to the rise of new cryptocurrencies, as in the case of Bitcoin Cash. Forks could also be useful in solving security issues and bugs that may arise in the blockchain. What's the result of a deliberate, successful fork? A deliberate fork could lead to a hard fork or a soft fork. The hard fork makes changes to the rules in such a way that blocks produced with the old rules see blocks produced while following the new rules as invalid. This leads to the creation of a new cryptocurrency, as in the case of Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, of which the latter is the new cryptocurrency. Soft fork occurs when the old and new network nodes follow different rules, thereby causing non-synchronization of data without the user's consent, although the blocks mined by the new rules are considered valid. How does a deliberate chain split work? Due to the decentralized nature of the blockchain, all miners contribute to changes to it. When a new rule is about to be effected on the chain, all the miners set the rules and have to agree to follow it. So when a deliberate chain split is about to be done, the miners and all who support it should be informed so the new protocols will be followed. When the Ethereum blockchain was about to be forked after the DAO theft, the Ethereum community had to vote so the hard fork could be done to refund all stolen Ethereum. Once an agreement is reached, the current blockchain is split with the new blocks following the new protocols. Media descriptions. As described earlier, chain splits in a blockchain could be accidental or deliberate. The latter consists of the hard fork and soft fork. The first deliberate chain split that happened on the Ethereum network in 2016 attracted a lot of media buzz in the cryptocurrency world. When the Decentralized Autonomous Organization or DAO theft happened with about 50 million stolen from the DAO wallet, all investors toward the project were thrown into a state of jeopardy, and the magnitude of the event made news. At the time, Vitalik Buterin, developer of Ethereum, proposed a soft fork to the crypto community. He said, quote, "It would prevent the attacker from being able to make any valid transactions," unquote. This was possible because the stolen funds were locked and would be impossible to move for the next 28 days. He also proposed that, quote, "The soft fork will be followed by a hard fork, which will give token holders the ability to recover their ether without any rollback or negating transaction," unquote. This was the first notable cryptocurrency chain split, after which Bitcoin forks also arose, ranging from Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin Gold and several others. Hard forks versus soft forks. Both the hard and soft forks are deliberate chain splits aimed at upgrading the mining software to newer versions and creating new cryptocurrencies. With the hard fork, both the old and new version exist simultaneously, i.e., the old version still works alongside the new version. However, with the soft fork, only one of the versions will continue working. Also, soft fork splits into one blockchain while the hard fork gives two splits. Another difference is that hard forks are permanent and do not allow backward compatibility. Either nodes upgrade or they get left behind. However, soft forks allow backward compatibility so the older network nodes can still mine new blocks as long as they follow the protocol. Case Study 1. Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash was created in August 2017 as a deliberate fork from Bitcoin. It was created out of the need for more transactions to be processed. For this to happen, it has a larger block size when compared to Bitcoin. The original plan Nakamoto had laid out in the white paper was for Bitcoin to be used for day-to-day transactions, but it soon became an investment tool due to the rising prices, so demand for it increased while its blockchain gradually experienced scalability problems. The transactions fees and confirmation time for transactions also witnessed an increase due to rising demand and a block limit size of 1 megabyte. This prompted the proposal for Bitcoin Cash with a block size of between 8 megabytes to 32 megabytes, so more transactions could be processed quickly. Both cryptocurrencies are similar, as they both use proof of work to mine new coins, and both were capped at 21 million coins. Bitcoin Cash also kicked off with the same mining algorithm as Bitcoin, so miners were able to mine both at the same time, but then Bitcoin Cash now uses a new algorithm presently. Bitcoin Cash has also undergone a fork into two new cryptocurrencies due to the same reasons it forked from Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash ABC and Bitcoin Cash SV were split from Bitcoin Cash in November 2018. Case Study 2. Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is an open-source cryptocurrency with smart contract functionality. It works on the original Ethereum network, which was released in July 2015 by Vitalik Buterin, which features surpassing financial transactions. The smart contract helps set up payments automatically between two parties without involving a bank. They can be created for guaranteeing fair and trusted payments. Ethereum Classic can be traced to Decentralized Autonomous Organization, or DAO, which was a project designed for decentralized systems, and it needed crowdfunding from the cryptocurrency community. The DAO project raised about 150 million ETH in 28 days, which was then hacked and a third of it was stolen. The hack was successful due to an error in the DAO technology. However, the smart contract would only allow the hacker access to the stolen funds after 28 days, so the community decided on a hard fork so all the stolen funds could be returned due to an upgrade in the system. Some opposed this notion, but the hard fork was implemented. The original Ethereum blockchain was then referred to as Ethereum Classic. Other forks. Presently, there are more than 70 active Bitcoin forks transacting in the cryptocurrency community, and they include Bitcore, Bitcoin Air, Bitcoin Atom, etc. Part 5. Digital Tokens. What are digital tokens? In order to facilitate transactions, digital tokens are used. They represent a form of virtual currency which runs on its blockchain and used to represent an asset or utility. They usually arise as a result of the need to raise funds for the crowd sales through initial coin offerings, or ICO. A digital token can also be referred to as crypto assets running on its personal blockchain. Apart from raising funds, digital tokens can function as a substitute for other assets. For example, they can give access to online content on a blockchain as well as representation for other cryptocurrencies, which can be shared with other participants on the blockchain or loyalty points on a blockchain. In summary, digital tokens can be created and distributed through the ICO process for facilitating transactions and smart contracts. They are created with the basic cryptocurrency templates so each user can create the tokens. Each token owner possesses a key, which allows transfer of ownership to another party, so the keys give you access to the tokens. Presently, only Bitcoin and Ethereum have digital tokens. Native blockchain tokens. These native tokens, also known as intrinsic tokens, are resources that are built into blockchains and have some amount of utility. They represent a significant part of the blockchain, so that the blockchain's existence is dependent upon these tokens. Ripple is an example of a native token. They are created to prevent transaction spamming as well as provide incentives for miners and validate transactions. Other common intrinsic tokens are BTC or Bitcoin blockchain, XRP or Ripple, NXT, and ETH or Ethereum. A company can offer a native token as points for purchasing goods and services from them. However, this does not translate into possessing the company's shares. Asset-backed tokens. These are tokens associated with an underlying asset, which could be laid claims to for an issuer. It could be compared to commodity money like gold. They are also called securities token and are usually offered as public tokens of a percentage of a company's ownership. They are simply digital representation of real-life assets. Back in the day, gold could be kept with the goldsmith with an IOU receipt or note issued to the owner. The notes could then be used to effect transfer of the gold to anyone by handing them over, so they could be claimed back from the goldsmith. Asset-backed tokens are just a digital equivalent to these kinds of transactions. In this case, the blockchain keeps a ledger of transactions involving these tokens, and before they can be laid claim to, the tokens need to be sent to the issuing party, after which the underlying asset can then be recovered. Common asset-backed digital tokens used to represent underlying assets like currencies and precious metals include art, music, etc. Depository receipt tokens. Depository receipts are negotiable financial securities, which afford investors the opportunity to hold shares in a foreign public company. Once shares of these companies are bought, physical certificates of stocks are handed. However, depository receipt tokens are digital representations of the stocks held by investors and can trade on national stock exchanges. The American depository receipt is a popular example with trading records on the national exchange. This receipt allows a company with publicly traded stocks to tap into the global market and raise more capital globally and at the same time increasing liquidity to the company's shares. It also allows investors to buy and trade stocks globally while diversifying into markets with higher return equities while trading under familiar conditions. Title tokens. Just like the traditional asset ownership title deed, title tokens are digital title deeds representing shares of a property ownership. Title insurance has been around for a while in the real estate industry, and although many buyers do not recognize its importance, real estate agents insist they buy it alongside the property. It helps verify the ownership of the property and to avoid fraudulent transactions of selling a property to more than one buyer. Once the title insurance is done, the deed is recorded according to the state's recording laws. Before the title insurance is done, the insuring companies engage in thorough research on the background of the property in public records to reveal all issues concerning the property which needs to be solved before it can be insured. This provides the buyer an assurance that the title is as represented, and if found otherwise, the insurance company is obligated to defend the insured's interest. The Torrens certificate is then issued to the property owner, carrying information such as the owner's name, restrictions, court orders, third-party claims, leases, and rights. The Torrens system is the traditional system of property insurance with several inefficiencies due to the amount of data that needs to be processed by the title company. This is why the title token was developed as a digital version of the Torrens certificate. It represents the shares of a particular property, and owners can then host and market their tokens. They can also share the data on their token with the title insurance companies to use as a starter for searching for information about properties. The title token serves as a genesis block for other titles to come. How do asset-backed digital tokens work? As explained earlier, asset-backed digital tokens are associated with an underlying asset, which could be laid claim to from the issuer. They are security tokens with a real-world asset backing them, like gold or fiat. This means the prices of the tokens are connected to the tangible assets backing them. If the prices of the token decrease, the physical assets are still available for liquidation by the investor. Asset-backed digital tokens provide stability and can be adopted easily. Also, any asset can be turned into a token, including intellectual property. Common asset-backed digital tokens include gold, oil, commodities, equities, etc. Contract tokens. This form of token is a type of smart contract containing several account addresses and their corresponding balance. Each account address's balance is set by the contract creator, with each unit called a token. In a token contract, the balances could be representative of both tangible and intangible objects like money, physical objects, and the holder's identity. The balance in each address is updated automatically if transactions happen between two addresses in a contract. New tokens can be minted to increase the amount of tokens in an address. Similarly, tokens can be reduced by burning tokens from an address. They can also be reduced by sending the tokens to a private key, which makes the tokens unavailable. The ERC-20 token contract is a common contract used for smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain. It has several similarities to other cryptocurrencies, and it can also be used in transactions. It is a very important token on the Ethereum blockchain and comes with a list of rules to be followed by all Ethereum tokens. It contains the token name, or the name by which the token will be known, should be short and concise, number of decimals, which show the extent of divisibility of the token, and symbol, used to represent the token and is usually 3 to 4 characters long. The ERC-20 token contract helps holders check the balances of accounts as well as make transactions between accounts. Utility tokens. These are coins or tokens that are used to raise funds for crowd sales through initial coin offering, or ICO. They are similar to store coupons, which can be redeemed during sales either to buy goods at a discount or to have special access to goods or services. This should not be confused with shares, as holders of utility tokens do not have any investment or control over the company's decisions since they are not regulated. Utility tokens also allow the holders to vote within the network in which they are offered. One of the advantages to a company of offering utility tokens is its crowdfunding potential. Millions of dollars have been raised by companies using ICOs. A major off-point about these tokens is the scam potential attached to them as they are not regulated. Several fake ICOs have been created to make quick money. Common utility tokens are ERC-20, Filecoin, SiaCoin, etc. Notable cryptocurrencies and tokens. Over the years, several cryptocurrencies and tokens have sprung up on various blockchains. Some have achieved notable success, while some have not lived up to expectations. The most notable cryptocurrency tokens in the market presently include, but are not limited to, Bitcoin or BTC, Ethereum or ETH, Litecoin LTC, Dogecoin, Namecoin, Ripple or XRP, Dash, Purecoin, NEO, Bitcoin Cash or BCH, Tether or USDT, Monero or XMR, Binance Coin or BNB, Stellar or XLM, Polkadot or DOT, Chainlink, and Cardano. Part 6. Blockchain Technology. What is blockchain technology? Blockchain is a term that has become synonymous with cryptocurrencies nowadays. In simple terms, blockchain is a distributed ledger technology, or DLT, that records digital assets in an unalterable and transparent manner. The blockchain technology stores blocks of transactions in public digital ledgers, which are interconnected as chains or nodes where all transactions are decentralized and distributed in real time. The blocks of information are timestamped, so the transactions cannot be backdated, corrupted, nor doubly recorded. The blockchain technology is behind several cryptocurrencies, and it keeps track of transactions concerning them. With the blockchain technology, many industries like manufacturing, finance, etc. can integrate its system into their transactions. It provides a highly secure digital signature for time-stamping transactions and making them tamper-proof. It also runs on a decentralized system, which makes it unique, faster, smooth, and incorruptible without third parties. The blockchain can be likened to a Google Doc, which can be created and distributed among people without using the copy or transfer feature. With this system, everyone can access the information and make modifications to it in real time, which is visible to all. What is common to blockchain technologies? The blockchain technology distributes digital assets on a real-time, decentralized scale. With it, people who do not even know each other can share data securely. All blockchain technologies are comprised of blocks, nodes, and miners. The block contains the data nonce, which is a 32-bit whole number randomly generated with each block, and also the hash, which is a 256-bit decimal number bound to the nonce. The nonce generates the hash, and the data is forever bound to the nonce and the hash once signed until it is mined. The nodes are a group of interconnected computer devices that display real-time copies of the blockchain and keeps it running. Each node on the network shows the public ledger and updates the ledger after the network approves each newly mined block. The miners generate new blocks on the blockchain. Each new block has to reference the hash of the block before it, so the miner utilizes a special software for solving complex math puzzles to find the nonce which generates a new hash. This is not an easy task, as there are about 4 billion nonce for each correct block to be mined. Each correctly mined block is updated on all nodes, and the miner takes the gain. What are blockchains good for? The blockchain technology can be applied across many industries, as can be seen in the modern world. Cryptocurrencies are a result of the technology. Blockchain backs Bitcoin, and the public ledger of all transactions involving the cryptocurrency are stored on the blockchain. Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin also use the blockchain technology. Another important advantage of blockchain is the decentralized, secure, and fast system of transactions it offers. This was seen in the United Nations humanitarian aid in the rural parts of Pakistan, where beneficiaries of aids were registered on the blockchain for accountability, transparency, and to avoid double spending. The blockchain is also useful in the investment world, as it has been utilized repeatedly during crowdfunding and ICOs by companies. Several businesses have also taken advantage of blockchain for customer retention by offering tokens that are stored digitally on customers' devices. In all, blockchain is being utilized across several industries in the world today. Public blockchains. This form of blockchain is available to all Internet users without exception. Anyone can use this network and also verify and add new blocks to the chain. Public blockchains are free to all and even offer incentives to interested users. The public blockchain works from an open network with all information accessible without permission from any party. Data on the public blockchain has no particular controlling body, and each entry cannot be mutated or deleted until the transaction is verified. This form of blockchain is useful in the public sectors like education, healthcare, development, etc. It works on a decentralized, distributed ledger. It is particularly useful in sectors that need transparency and secure mode of storing data, as each data entry can't be modified or deleted once entered. For example, the healthcare industry can use the blockchain technology to store information about costs of treatment, costs of running the healthcare institution, drug prescriptions, patients' information, staff information, and other sensitive data. Common examples of public blockchain are Bitcoin and Ethereum. A major drawback in public blockchains is the inability to trust parties who have access to the data on the network. Darknet markets. These are commercial websites running through the darknet used for transactions pertaining to drugs, illegal arms, cyber weapons, unapproved drugs, stolen goods, etc. Common darknet sites include Tor and I2P. They operate on the Silk Road prototype for anonymous internet usage and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Monero for payment, as they cannot be traced. The Silk Road was the first darknet marketplace and relied heavily on Tor and Bitcoin for accessing the site and making payments. It was later shut down, after which several other darknet marketplaces arose and were also shut down after some time. The most recent darknet website that was seized was Dark Market, with an arrest of its alleged founder made in 2021. The darknet marketplaces typically operate on the peer-to-peer system, with Bitcoin as the primary payment option. An escrow system is usually used in which the buyer sends the Bitcoin into it and the funds are released to the seller after successful reception of the products. The major types of products sold on the darknet marketplaces include drugs, sensitive information, hacking services, firearms and weapons, and several other prohibited goods. Cross-border payments. As the name implies, cross-border payments refer to transactions between banks, companies, or individuals found in different countries. This means the transaction is sent from an originating country and received in another country. With growing globalization, businesses continue to grow and expand into new territories and start transacting with entities from other countries. With this, funds need to be transferred between these entities. However, the traditional methods of transfer are slower and less efficient with longer receiving windows. With blockchain, cross-border payments can be made in a straightforward and faster manner. This is a better option as it offers lower transfer fees and transfers are reflected almost instantly. The funds that need to be transferred can be converted into Bitcoin and then sent into the recipient's wallet address. Also, Ethereum smart contracts make international payments across borders easy. Ripple is also an important cryptocurrency created solely for the purpose of international payments at relatively low costs. With the RippleNet decentralized payment gateway, XRP serves as a link between the two currencies involved, so payments are received automatically in the recipient's currency. Initial coin offerings, or ICOs. These are often used for raising funds through crowdfunding by offering cryptocurrencies as tokens to interested investors in exchange for money or other established cryptocurrencies. It is a common means of raising investment by startups from the public without passing through the regulatory arms of financial services. Possessing initial tokens from a company does not necessarily mean access to the company's profits or possession of shares. They are shared as currencies that are useful when the project launches and the startup becomes successful. Several ICOs have turned out to be scams due to absence of a regulating body. An ICO was first offered in 2013 by Mastercoin, with Ethereum also offering token sales in 2014, which pulled in a whopping $2.3 million within the first day. From 2017, ICOs kept increasing with more than 50 new coin offerings every month, and Ethereum being the most used blockchain platform. ICOs have received several criticisms from financial experts, with the most prevalent ones tagging the process as, quote, a mechanism for fraud, unquote. At the initial stage of an ICO, the startup releases a business proposal or white paper detailing the price and quantity of tokens to be sold, the sales cap, time frame, and all important details. After this, the tokens are offered on a platform in exchange for legal tender or cryptocurrencies, and this gives holders access to products and services in the future, utility tokens, as well as certain percentage of future gains, or equity tokens. Private blockchains. A private blockchain can also be referred to as a consortium. It's a special type of blockchain which is invitation only. In other words, it is a permissioned blockchain. In order to access it, permission needs to be sought and granted by the governing body. Permission is also needed in order to modify or delete data on the blockchain. Private blockchains are used by specific sectors whose information is too sensitive to be made public, like certain financial sectors and top governmental organizations. Due to the limited number of parties in a private blockchain, transactions are faster than in public blockchains. One of the downsides of private blockchain is its susceptibility to attacks, hacks, and other data breaches due to its centralized status, as opposed to the public blockchain that is completely decentralized. However, private blockchains are perfect for organizations with higher need for privacy, like businesses who are shielding their data from competitors. In addition, private blockchains offer low transaction costs, high efficiency, and lesser risk of illegal activity, as all individuals with access can be traced. Blockchain experiments. Earlier sections in this chapter have described the blockchain as a public digital ledger where transactions can be observed in real time. Blockchain powers cryptocurrencies, although there are several other sectors in which the technology can be put into use. As a decentralized and immutable public ledger, data can be stored and computed on it securely with lesser fear of compromise. The blockchain experiment keeps evolving as the network continues to experience expansion into sectors operating on a centralized wavelength. A significant blockchain experiment is fork creation from an existing cryptocurrency to form a new one. Hard forks can be implemented to create a new blockchain running on its own protocol. Another blockchain experiment is hosting a company's transactions on the public ledger of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is possible due to the open source blockchain, which can be modified by anyone on the internet, although a transaction fee is required. These and many more are experiments that can be performed on the blockchain. Questions to ask. As the blockchain continues to be the bedrock of cryptocurrencies and several other applications, it is important to consider what happens in future years. Will the blockchain continue forever? What happens when all 21 million Bitcoin have been mined? Is there going to be a reserve? Will cryptocurrencies eventually phase out physical money? These and many more questions arise when the future of blockchain is being discussed. One very important question concerning the subject matter is whether the blockchain will eventually become centralized and regulated. Presently, U.S. banking projects using blockchain hit certain dead ends when statutory regulations require them to follow traditional banking procedures. One of the proposed solutions is to tokenize securities in fiat. Another rising concern is whether banks will still be relevant with the blockchain spreading all around. This is answered with mixed reactions when viewed from different angles. Some say crypto is enough, while another school of thought disagrees by saying a future without banks is meaningless. They argue that cryptocurrencies are not designed for the kind of economy being run, because it is private money and its value is so volatile. Also, due to the decentralized system offered by the blockchain, there is no one to blame if something goes wrong. Part 7. Initial Coin Offerings. What are ICOs? As a substitute for initial public offering or IPO in the cryptocurrency world, initial coin offerings or ICOs are means of raising capital for startup companies through crowd sales. The company develops tokens or coins and offers them in exchange for legal tender or cryptocurrency to the public so they can raise capital to fund their projects. They are a common way of raising funds in present day with the blockchain technology. ICOs can be likened to buying a company's stocks. However, not all company tokens give holders access to the company's liquid shares. Some only offer utility tokens, which can be exchanged for discounted goods and services, as well as special access to products. Over the years, several ICOs have failed, while some thrived excellently in the market. Also, they are not usually regulated, so several ICOs have turned out to be fraudulent, while some companies employ the sell and dump method, where they generate a lot of public awareness to raise hopes of investors, and then dump the tokens after raising funds. However, since inception, ICOs have raised billions of dollars for companies, and this makes it a top choice for crowdfunding. How do ICOs work? In order to offer an ICO, a startup company needs to create and publish a white paper. A white paper is more like a proposal detailing information about the project, the business idea and its impact in the niche, the potential for profit, the amount of capital needed to start, the total quantity of tokens to be available, the fraction of it that will be sold, the legal tender that will be accepted, sales cap, time frame, and other necessary information about the ICO campaign. Once the campaign is launched, interested investors buy the tokens with cryptocurrencies or legal tender and are held. These tokens can be likened to shares sold to investors when a company goes public. The campaign continues until the specified time frame lapses. If the minimum amount of capital needed is raised during the campaign, then the ICO is deemed successful. Otherwise, the ICO has failed and the company might return the capital raised to the investors. Most ICOs accept established cryptocurrencies as payment for their tokens, so investors need to be cautious and familiar with the cryptocurrency space. Despite the non-regulatory nature of ICOs, certain instances exist where the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, stepped in when legal activities were suspected in the company's account and investors were refunded, as was seen in the case of Telegram. White papers. Basically, startup companies usually have a plan which outlines information about the ICO to potential investors. This plan is called a white paper. It is prepared before releasing the ICO, and it is a very important stage in crowdfunding, as investors will require information about the venture they are investing in to know if it is worth their time and money. The white paper contains information about the project, the business idea and its impact in the niche, the potential for profit, the amount of capital needed to start, the total quantity of tokens to be available, the fraction of it that will be sold, the legal tender that will be accepted, the sales cap, the time frame, and other necessary information about the ICO campaign. It is more or less a business plan showing all an investor needs to know about the project. An investor should look out for the project's roadmap, future plans, token value and distribution, terms and conditions, and all salient points in a white paper to determine if the project is worth it or not. The token sale. This represents the main coin offering stage in the ICO. It is the initial coin offering as an exchange for a pre-existing cryptocurrency. The sale is the process of generating and distributing the new coin to the interested investors. A predetermined number of coins are offered to interested investors within a limited time frame, so the startup company accepts either Bitcoin or Ethereum as payment for these coins. The token sales market has experienced a significant surge in the past years, as it has proven to be a means of raising capital rapidly for projects without any regulating body. The token sales process starts with the company's founders managing the token issuance and then releasing the white paper detailing information about the project. Interested investors buy the tokens and either pay in fiat or pre-existing cryptocurrency, after which the tokens are issued to them. With the funds received from the token sales, the company liquidates it if the minimum amount of funds required is met and then goes on with the project. If the minimum amount needed could not be raised, the token sale is deemed unsuccessful. ICO funding stages. When starting an ICO, there are several stages and tasks that need to be executed to get the token into the market. Generally, there are about 14 stages to scale through to get the ICO running, but the stages are simplified here. Firstly, the preliminary stage, where a company decides to implement the ICO as its crowdfunding strategy and aligns the project with blockchain structure. Once the project idea is accepted with positive feedback, then the project's white paper containing all vital information about the project, its viability, the amount of funds needed, the quantity of tokens to be kept by the company, and every other needed informational bit is created. The white paper needs to be credible and convincing enough to pull investors into the project. A captivating website is then designed and launched, after which advertisements and promotions on various relevant channels are embarked upon. The ICO is then developed, and the most common platform for developing ICOs is the Ethereum DApp development platform due to the availability of smart contracts and ERC20. After developing the smart contract, a wallet also needs to be developed for storing and transacting the ICO coins. Then, the ICO is launched and open for sales and airdrop, or free token distribution. Payments are made with fiat or cryptocurrencies, and the coins are listed on exchanges to further scale them into the market. The money raised from the sales is then pumped into implementing the project idea. Whitelisting. Whitelisting simply means screening the potential investors in an ICO to see if they are worthy enough to purchase the company's tokens or not. Popular projects usually embark on whitelisting so they can have an estimate of the amount they can raise from an ICO and also know the intentions of potential investors as well as their identity and where they are from. Information about the potential investors are gotten during the pre-sale, so all worthy candidates are listed in the whitelist. This can be likened to KYC, as some companies require information about the investors before allowing them to take part in token sales, so the payments are not inked to smart contracts, which helps reject payments from addresses that are not whitelisted. Whitelisting helps to prevent investors from banned countries from participating in token sales and also have an estimate of the amount that could be raised from the ICO. Popular companies that have done this include Oracle's network, Tezos, etc. Funding caps. In ICOs, limits are sometimes placed on the amount of funds to be raised for the project. This gives investors an idea of the fundraising goals. There are two forms of caps, namely the hard cap and soft cap. The hard cap is the upper limit on the number of tokens that can be sold to investors. Since the tokens represent the amount raised, this means the hard cap represents the maximum amount of funds that can be raised through an ICO. Once the hard cap is reached, the tokens are no longer sold and considered successful. Meanwhile, the soft cap is speculative and represents the lower limit or the minimum number of tokens to be sold to fund a project. They are not rigid in nature and are just presented to show how much the company is hoping to raise. Treasury. As established earlier, ICOs need to be hosted on a blockchain platform, which provides the framework for developing the ICO and distributing it. The Ethereum platform is commonly used for payment, although fiat and Bitcoin are also used. However, all payments are stored in a treasury, which cannot be accessed until a specified date, and withdrawals cannot be made as well. The Ether treasury particularly functions in this manner due to the smart contracts used for fundraising. The smart contract keeps records of all information about the ICO and also makes token transfer to buyers while accepting Ether payments. All payments received are sent to the treasury immediately for safekeeping and cannot be accessed until after a certain number of days. Exchange listing. With growing numbers of cryptocurrencies, more and more coins are listed on exchange platforms. Exchanges are intermediaries between buyers and sellers in the cryptocurrency marketplace. Several coins are listed in various exchanges for trading purposes. In order to list a coin on an exchange, the exchange needs to be contacted after the coin creation. The exchange then gives out various terms, conditions, and requirements for listing coins on their platform, and usually demands fees for listing the coin, which could range from $50,000 to $1 million. Listing coins on an exchange can require between a few days to some months, depending on the technicalities involved. The coin to be listed should be worthy of thriving in the blockchain market and be registered with the appropriate bodies. Once a coin is listed, it is important for it to grow and increase in capital value to avoid getting delisted. When is a token a security? A token is considered a security token when it is a digital contract representing a percentage of valuable assets that can then be liquidated, like real estate, stocks, etc. As a result, holders of security tokens have a stake in the company's ownership, which is recorded on the blockchain's public ledger. They can be likened to the traditional securities which give holders rights to the ownership of the companies offering them. The Howey test is used to ascertain if a certain token is a securities token. If a token requires monetary investment, is a common enterprise, and holders expect profit from it, then it has passed the Howey test and is considered a securities token. Conclusion: ICOs have come as a revolutionary method of raising funds for projects and businesses through crowdfunding. A successful ICO gives startups enough budget to work with within a specified period without going through the hassle of governmental regulation. However, it is important to be cautious when investing in ICOs, as many projects have been exposed as scams, with the companies not starting the project at all or employing the sell and dump tactic. With Ethereum smart contracts, ICOs can be completely decentralized and automated. Over the years, startups have been able to raise millions of dollars in capital, with the EOS ICO being the biggest ever with $4 billion raised within a year. ICOs are a great option of raising capital if properly managed and executed. Part 8. Investing. Pricing. One of the most important questions ever raised in the crypto world is, how are tokens priced? What mechanism or technique determines the price of tokens at any given time? What factors affect token prices? It is important to have a grasp of the mechanism behind token prices so profitable choices can be made. Due to the nature of cryptocurrencies, these prices are not affected by monetary policies, inflation, or economic growth as seen with traditional currencies. Rather, their prices are determined by demand and supply of the coin, cost of mining the coin, competing coins, exchanges, news, regulations, and internal governance. There are several theories backing how tokens are priced, and the theory backing each token is based on the features of the token itself. Who controls the price of utility tokens? Utility tokens were defined earlier as coins or tokens that are used to raise funds for crowd sales through initial coin offerings or ICOs. They are similar to store coupons, which can be redeemed during sales either to buy goods at a discount or to have special access to goods or services. The price of a utility token is determined by the supply and demand curve of the token. Its price increases when the token's relative demand is higher than supply. Risks and mitigations. Although cryptocurrencies are not physical currencies, they are getting very popular and offer a lot of benefits to investors. With the rising prices of these currencies, investors are increasing and more transactions are being facilitated through wallets and exchanges at lower transaction fees than traditional banks. However, just as cryptocurrencies have benefits, there are several risks associated with the market. Most of these risks are peculiar to the digital currencies market, while some are observed in general financial markets as well. Some of these risks are outlined in the sections below. Market risk. Cryptocurrencies are volatile. Prices rise and drop unexpectedly. Even experienced market analysts have had their forecasts and predictions go wrong, making the market highly unpredictable and risky. Due to the volatility of the market, sudden highs and lows are observed, and the value of an asset can go from a few hundred to thousands of dollars within a few moments. Even a single tweet can spike the price of cryptocurrencies, as was seen in a tweet Elon Musk shared in the early days of 2021, which led to a sudden rise in the price of Bitcoin. Liquidity risk. Liquidity risk in the cryptocurrency market was not considered in the early days of Bitcoin. Liquidity is the ability of an asset to be transformed to cash as soon as it is demanded, while the liquidity risk is the inability to market an asset on demand. When an asset is liquid, this means it can enter the market at any time and be sold, so the liquidity risk is associated with selling or buying at a loss. Factors that affect the liquidity of cryptocurrency assets are higher number of cryptocurrency exchanges, more acceptance to the world, higher trading volume, and country regulations. However, liquidity risk is raised when the market has a lower number of buyers, or when demand decreases, so the market has to dump the assets in an illiquid market. Market liquidity risk can often be measured by the width, depth, and resilience. Exchange risks. Being an intermediary between sellers and buyers in the crypto market, exchanges usually have wallets where users can store their cryptocurrencies. Storing crypto in exchanges has certain shortfalls which need to be addressed. Due to the sensitivity of the personal data collected by them, the risk of privacy breaching and hacking increases. Some exchanges lack strong protection security standards, thereby making them susceptible to attacks. As a rule of thumb, it is not advised to keep crypto in exchanges. Once trading is completed, it is advisable to transfer the coins into a more secure wallet. This is so because exchanges hold the private key to crypto stored in their wallet, so if they got hacked, the funds cannot be stolen easily. Exchanges are usually not regulated, so they are not obligated to facilitate transactions transparently. So if by chance a security breach happens on their network or funds are stolen by hackers, investors might not be able to get compensation for their losses. Wallet risks. Just like physical cash that can be kept in wallets, cryptocurrencies are also held in digital wallets, and the same way physical wallets can be lost or misplaced, digital wallets can also be tampered with. One of the most common risks associated with digital wallets is spoofing and phishing of payment information. This is theft in plain sight, where a malware replaces a copied wallet with another wallet when pasted on the payment gateway to reroute the transferred funds. Phishing can also be done to harvest unsuspecting users' crypto wallet details. Another risk faced with wallets is payment gateway hacking. Hackers can steal information from wallets' domain providers and use it to steal funds from account holders with the wallet. Another potential risk faced by wallet users is transfer recipient address error. If there is an error in the copied address, the money disappears into the system or goes to a wrong recipient. Also, hardware wallets, like paper wallets, can be stolen or lost, and even software wallets can get lost if the computer's hard disk crashes. Regulatory risks. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized, so they are not so regulated, although in recent times, due to the high prices and global attention they have been getting, governments have started paying attention to the virtual currencies. Certain countries have banned crypto trading altogether, like China, while some others are considering the option due to the concerns that they could be used for criminal and terrorist transactions, as they could not be traced and can be moved around without physical presence. Also, due to the controversies surrounding cryptocurrencies as to whether they are assets or virtual currencies, there have been uncertainties surrounding their taxation position. In all, the lack of clear taxation, regulatory, legal, and financial clarity on cryptocurrencies poses a major risk to investors. Scams. Over the years, cryptocurrencies have been susceptible to theft, hacks, and cyber fraud by hackers and criminals. As the assets are purely digital, hackers can break into exchanges, wallets, and computers to drain and steal crypto from them. Some operate by infecting a computer with malware, which then steals the cryptocurrency. Some exchanges also lack adequate security and internal control, which makes them vulnerable to attacks which can compromise their crypto holdings. Once a third party has access to a user's private key, they can steal the coins held in the wallet, and once crypto is stolen, the chances of recovery are quite slim due to the way the blockchain operates. This is why the choice of wallet to be used is so important. Hardware wallets are considered the safest, although they could also be stolen. Software wallets can be hacked, so the most secure option should be considered. Using a paper wallet is risky as the private keys which are printed out could be stolen and the funds in the wallet accessed. Part 9. Crypto trading. What is day trading? Trading cryptocurrencies could be done in various forms, either swing trading or day trading. Swing trading involves using technical analysis to take short to medium-term gains over a short period, ranging from a few days to some months. Profits are taken when a long or short position has been held in the market for more than a trading session. The trading session typically leaves the trader in the market over weekends and overnight, thereby increasing the risk to reward ratio. By contrast, day trading involves making market speculations and then opening and closing a trade within the same trading day. The financial instrument being traded is bought and sold before the trade market closes for the day. This protects the trader of unforeseen negative gaps that might arise overnight before the market opens for the next day. Day traders are called speculators and could be likened to gamblers. Traders who make more than 3 day trades in every 5 trading days in the U.S. are required to keep $25,000 equity in their accounts and are called pattern day traders. Financial instruments usually day traded are stocks, cryptocurrencies, futures contracts, etc. Due to the high returns and losses that are possible with day trading, it is extremely risky and day traders are susceptible to losing a lot of money. Swing trading versus day trading cryptocurrency. Both swing trading and day trading are valid styles of trading. However, the major difference between the two is the holding time. While swing traders hold their positions for more than 24 hours, day traders exit the market before it closes, i.e., trading time is limited to a day. Also, due to the overnight risk involved when swing traders hold their positions, a smaller position is used because of the higher level of risk involved. Nevertheless, day traders have the luxury of using a larger position size up to 25%. A day trader can make multiple trades per day, while a swing trader can only make multiple trades per week. With swing trading, profits and losses overall are fewer but substantial, and vice versa with day trading. Swing trading can be done part-time as trades are placed for longer periods, while day trading requires time, effort, and the use of sophisticated tools and technology. Day trading requires a minimum account of at least $25,000 in the U.S. stock trade, but there is no minimum requirement for the Forex market. In swing trading, a minimum of $10,000 is required for stock trading, while about $1,500 is required for Forex. In all, day trading requires advanced skill and a lot of commitment, while swing trading does not require full-time attention due to the holding positions and indicators used. What instruments can you trade in with swing trading? Various financial instruments can be employed for swing trading. A financial instrument's viability for swing trading is based on the trader's experience and current market trends. Common instruments used are currencies, cryptocurrencies, individual stocks, commodities, indices, futures, and CFD instruments. Popular indices include Dow Jones 30 CFD, NASDAQ 100 CFD, DAX 30 CFD, etc. Part 10. Swing Trading Cryptocurrency. Finding an exchange. In the trading world, exchanges are digital marketplaces where customers can buy and sell tradable financial instruments and also trade them for other assets or fiat money. Usually, when using exchanges, payment for financial assets can be made with credit cards, bank deposits, wire transfers, third-party wallets, and several other payment methods. Once a user funds the exchange wallet, payment can then be made for the asset to be bought. Exchanges can be run as physical businesses or make all dealings online, although electronic exchanges seem to be more convenient and easier nowadays. To start trading, an exchange is highly important as all assets are stored in the customer's wallets. When choosing an exchange, it is important to note the volume of exchange the platform can handle so a client's trading will have no limits. Also, the exchange's security should be observed as hacking is quite rampant nowadays. It is also important to note if the client's country is allowed to trade on the exchange platform to avoid bans and subsequent loss of assets. For cryptocurrencies, the best exchanges available are Coinbase, Robinhood, Binance, etc. Managing cryptocurrency. Due to the technicalities involved in gaining knowledge about cryptocurrencies for both beginners and new investors, it has become necessary to develop a solution which makes it easier for these sets of customers to blend into the system without going through these technicalities. This is why cryptocurrency asset management was developed. These platforms help clients to manage all digital assets from one wallet, rather than having multiple wallets scattered around. It makes things easier for new adopters and even experienced investors, as all assets are now in one place, and there are also improved portfolio management tools that allow holders to track and manage their assets in real time. For example, Coinbase is a platform that allows users to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin all from one centralized wallet. It also provides its users with the option of storing fiat currency in their wallets, making buying and selling easier. Blocks is also a cryptocurrency asset management platform which allows its clients to manage, file taxes, and track their accounts in real time. Trading on an exchange. Exchanges serve as middlemen between buyers and sellers in the cryptocurrency market. For a small transaction fee, they help both buyers and sellers procure what they need. In order to buy cryptocurrency on an exchange, the user needs to deposit funds into their exchange account using another cryptocurrency or local currency through bank deposit, wire transfer, credit cards, or third-party services like PayPal. Once funds are received in the exchange wallet, the user then places the order for the needed cryptocurrency at a price below the maximum price. This goes for someone willing to sell as well. They also place a sell order at a price higher than the minimum selling price. So what the exchange does is look for a seller who is offering the crypto at a price the buyer wants and match them together, after which the transfer and sale happens. So if the prices do not match, exchange of crypto and money do not happen. Trading using Robinhood. Robinhood is an exchange platform that rose to prominence due to its zero transaction fee offering. They do not charge any commission for trading crypto assets, options, or stocks with an allowance for zero accounts. This makes it an attractive exchange platform for new traders and investors trying small investment amounts. Although Robinhood has a simple and attractive website and app interface, they offer minimum amounts of trading statistics and analysis for users. They also lag in real-time data updates and give large spreads for crypto transactions. A sweet point with Robinhood is that it allows users to access deposited funds and also funds gained after closing trades. It gives users the option of trading stocks, options, ETFs, and cryptocurrencies, but it is open to users from the US only. In all, Robinhood offers one of the cheapest crypto trading platforms. There is a Robinhood Gold account for $5 a month and extends the exchange's functionalities. Part 11. Market Signals. Candlesticks. Also known as Japanese candlesticks, as the Japanese were the first to use them in the 17th century for rice trading, candlesticks are price charts that predict the positions of a security in the market. They give a technical analysis of how high or low the price of a security will go, and also its opening and closing prices within a certain period. In simpler terms, they show the price movement of a certain financial instrument. The bearish candles represent a decrease in price, while bullish candles show price increases. Financial analysts and traders study these candlesticks to know when to enter or exit a trade within a time frame. Indecision candles. As the name implies, an indecision candlestick does not give a clear hint on the market's direction. They are also known as doji candlesticks. They are powerful candlesticks that are formed when both buying and selling are not balanced in the market. Neither the buyers nor sellers have a clear grasp of the market at that point, due to the equal number of buyers and sellers both fighting to keep the market in their favor. This prompts the indecision candlestick to form and is characterized by a small body and centralized placement among the candles. They also possess long, proportional wicks on both sides of the body, indicating an attempt by the candlestick to go high and low. Indecision candlesticks are great for predicting trend reversal in the market. Oscillators. Trading works on predictions and speculations, and as a result of this, several technical tools are required for analysis. One of these tools is the oscillator. Oscillators are tools used to indicate momentum in the market. With it, high and low bands can be constructed to fall between two extreme values, with a trend indicator moving up and down between the bands. If the oscillator values move toward the upper limit, when the asset is said to be overbought, and if it moves towards the lower limit, the asset is considered oversold. With oscillators, traders can access trend breakouts when used alongside moving average indicators. When the oscillator fluctuates to form a trend indicator, the trader can then draw inferences about the current market conditions. There are several oscillators used when trading, with the popular ones being Relative Strength Index or RSI, Money Flow Index or MFI, Stochastic Oscillator, and Rate of Change or ROC. Oscillators' effectiveness can be further improved when used with technical indicators. Support and resistance. These two levels indicate areas of equilibrium for traders and usually come as turning points in the market. Support represents a level where a downtrend slows as a result of more demand in the market. This means when a price is falling and reaches a support level, the trend stops temporarily with an increase in demand. If the price surpasses the support, the drop continues until another support level is encountered. Resistance, on the other hand, occurs when an uptrend slows temporarily and the price experiences a form of resistance due to increasing supply. It is the opposite of support, and if the price moves past the resistance level, it keeps rising until another resistance level is met. Once these levels are reached, the prices are expected to stop and turn around in the opposite direction. To identify support and resistance levels, one should look for trend lines. Swing points preceding an uptrend represents support, while swing points preceding a downtrend shows the resistance. What drives market momentum? In trading, market momentum shows how much the market can sustain prices within a particular period. It displays the ability of the market to keep a rising market from falling and a falling market from rising over a certain time interval. With the market momentum, market sentiments can be determined as well as the market trend. When a positive momentum is maintained, a bullish trend could form, and with a negative momentum, bearish trends should be expected. The market momentum can be calculated by M equals V minus Vx, where V equals latest price and Vx equals closing price X number of days ago. With this equation, the trend line can be constructed. With market momentum, traders can perform technical analysis and also identify opportunities to enter and exit a trade by using the bullish and bearish trends. Aside from prices, trading volume can also impact the market momentum, as a high trading volume gives stronger market momentum. Tools that can be used to determine market momentum include RSI, volume-weighted moving averages, etc. Looking for uptrends. Trend lines define the price movement of a financial asset and are shown with candlesticks for technical analysis. As the name implies, uptrend refers to an upward price movement, i.e., higher highs and higher lows. It will be observed that with uptrends, each candlestick is higher than the one preceding it. When there continues to be higher highs and higher lows, the uptrend is maintained. The sweet spot of uptrends is that traders can take profit from the rising prices of the financial assets. With trend lines, potential trend reversals can be spotted and predicted. Price action, trend lines, and technical indicators are common ways of analyzing an uptrend for trading predictions. For example, when an uptrend experiences a price pullback, traders can buy and then profit if the price rises again. This is considered risky by some, as it is uncertain that the price will rise again, so they buy when the price starts rising again while controlling risk with a stop loss. Downtrends. As the opposite of uptrends, downtrends refer to a downward price movement, i.e., lower highs and lower lows. It describes the lower peaks and lower troughs that are hit within a specified time interval. When a financial asset experiences a downtrend, it is perceived to persist and the prices go lower until a significant event triggers the market to pick up again. This implies that the market condition is deteriorating and supply seems higher than demand. When downtrends are about to happen, the prices drop gradually, and the first sign given in the price action is supply getting higher than demand. Due to the drop in the price of the asset, sellers increase as the asset loses value and everyone wants to dump the asset to limit losses. Downtrends are usually triggered by a significant event or news, which devalues the asset. Technical indicators are usually used to identify potential downtrends, and traders take advantage of these trends by buying the asset and then entering the market by borrowing and selling the assets and then buying them again. Flags. Flags represent chart patterns that resemble a flag or flagpole. It offers one of the best continuation chart patterns from the point where the price moved against the trend it was maintaining previously. In other words, it displays a sharp deviation from a steep trend. For example, a chart following an uptrend, which then sharply experiences a downward slope, is a flag. If the trend before the deviation continues, then a trade opportunity opens depending on the flag pattern. The flag pattern could be bearish or bullish, with the former being a downtrend and the latter following the downward trend. These are known as the bear flag or bull flag. The flag is represented by an almost vertical line, which is continuous but could break out in either direction. Traders can take instant profits by selling their assets, which causes a gradual price decrease, which forms a downward slope on the chart resembling a flag. All flags possess a preceding trend, volume pattern, consolidation path, breakout, and price confirmation towards the breakout. Moving averages. These are simple statistical tools for technical analysis where average price is created by analyzing several price data. In simpler terms, a moving average filters the actual market trend from the mere speculations by smoothing out price fluctuations. It looks at the average closing price of an asset over a specified period, so it is a great tool for predicting potential future prices. Due to the volatility of financial assets, their prices do not maintain a straight line, so it is easier to smooth out the chart movements with moving averages to be able to determine the trend direction. Moving averages help identify support and resistance levels and also provide a springboard for other technical indicators like the MACD. Observing the direction of the moving average gives the trader an idea of the price direction. For example, an angled up moving average depicts rising prices while an angled down one depicts falling prices. The rule of moving averages. When using MA, it is important to note that prices don't always follow the MA. Sometimes the price stops and reverses before hitting the average or brushes through it. However, the basic rule is if an asset's price is below the MA, then the trend is down, but if the price is above the MA, the trend is up. When two different MA lines cross over one another, then an MA crossover is said to have happened. This strategy is great for determining the price trend, an entry point, and if a trend reversal is about to happen. If an asset's short-term moving average crosses higher than its long-term moving average, this is called the golden cross and is a strong buy signal. In the same vein, if an asset's short-term moving average goes lower than its long-term moving average, it's called the death cross with a strong sell signal. Types of moving average. MA can be calculated over different time frames and have different types. There is the simple moving average, which calculates the MA by adding the closing price for X number of days and then dividing the value over the X. For example, to calculate a 5-period simple moving average on an hourly chart, you would have to add up the closing price for each hour and divide it by 5. This gives the simple moving average for the 5-hour period. SMA price reactions are usually swift, although it treats older prices the same as recent prices when calculating the MA. On the other hand, the exponential moving average calculates the MA exponentially and places more significance on the most recent price points. Different EMA intervals can be used to calculate the MA, like 10-day, 50-day, etc. The major difference between SMA and EMA is that the former treats all prices equally, while the latter pays more attention to the most recent prices, thereby giving a more realistic picture of the average prices. The golden cross. This chart is a type of chart pattern with bullish signals where an asset's short-term moving average goes higher than its long-term moving average. It is a long-term, strong, bullish buy market signal. The golden cross comes into play in 3 stages. Firstly, an ending downtrend as selling depletes, a shorter moving average crossing the longer moving average, and lastly, an uptrend indicating a strong bullish signal. This chart pattern is considered the holy grail of all chart patterns as it gives strong indications of entry and exit points in a market when used with oscillators like MACD and RSI. It also helps determine when to sell an asset as well as when to buy and hold. For example, if a 50-day MA crosses over a 200-day MA over a month, the Golden Cross is considered stronger than the same MA over a shorter time frame. However, with the many advantages the Golden Cross offers, some traders object to its use as it is commonly seen as a lagging indicator. Death Cross. This is the opposite of the Golden Cross as it represents a downward moving average. It is a long-term bear market indicating a strong sell market signal. This chart is a type of chart pattern with bearish signals where an asset's short-term moving average goes lower than its long-term moving average, with 50-day and 200-day being the MA usually used with this chart. It is a reliable bearish market predictor, with it correctly predicting some of the most severe bear markets ever experienced, as seen in 1929, 1938, 1974, and 2008. Although a death cross has appeared in other times, but turned out to be a false alarm, as seen in 2016. The death cross happens in three phases. Firstly, an asset's short-term MA goes higher than its long-term MA, and then trend reversal happens where the short-term MA crosses below its long-term MA, and lastly, a downward trend starts as the short-term MA stays in place. Conclusion. It's been a long but worthwhile journey examining the various facets of money and its concepts. Money is an integral part of societies today, and it fuels the economy. Without money, nothing works, and societies come to a standstill as goods and services need to be paid. Money has evolved over the past centuries, and some forms of money and money systems used in those ages continue to be used today. Gold is a typical example. Even paper money and banknotes form the basis of numerous currencies that are in circulation today. Digital money is a new system of payment that arose in the past century, and it has continued to evolve and forms a substantial part of money in circulation today. Cryptocurrencies rank among the highest value assets that could be owned in present day, as one BTC is worth more than $60,000 presently. One of the conveniences digital money has also extended to us is the ease of payment up to cross-border payment levels. Nowadays, payments to other countries are instant and secure, thanks to e-wallets and global payment platforms like PayPal. Therefore, it is imperative to understand how these systems work in order not to be left out of the digital rush.